Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones day trade setups for today. So, by the looks of things, the little wedge that was forming yesterday has started to play out. We did get a mixed bag of results yesterday, and that's pretty much what drove us to the downside. What I want to do is just get the structure here drawn in, because that's the first part of this. And then obviously the second part of this is we could just form a range. And if you look carefully, the range, there's a starting point of your wedge, or alternatively, if you look at the wedge like that, that's the starting point, but there is the first target of the wedge, which is always the next bit of structure to the downside, and that's down here. Quite frankly, I think I'm just going to get rid of that for now. We are in an uptrend. We did get a mixed bag of results, which I think was Goldman Sachs that actually pulled us down. And if we have a look at what we do have to the left, we do have quite a bit of structure in the middle here as well, which is kind of where we are right now. So let's just get right down to the lower time frames. That's what we want to be trading. First things first, we have a almost grouping of the oscillators now on the 3 hour. We do have an inside bar that's formed this morning. Not quite off a decent bit of structure. If you look to the left, you would expect it to be off that tail there, and we are rejecting that tail, but nevertheless you do have a series of tails further down. So you can pull it up to there. You can see that's kind of on it, but then I could also drop it a little bit lower to this zone here, and you can see there's quite a bit going on over here. And if we come back to left, you'll notice that price is pretty much on that level at 33.824. So obviously from a 3 hour perspective, bar's just closed as I'm talking, so that is an engulfing bar after hours. So I'd be looking at this with a little bit of interest. If we look at the hour, what we did have yesterday was a pretty strong move to the downside, and then no real profit taking here. It was just a straight move to the downside, and we've got a crossover of the moving averages. Now we do have we're below the 155 EMA, so there is structure to the left. Just going to get them in. So if you look to the left, you can see there is a level right there that we did bounce off this morning. That's 34.032. So that's one area I'd be watching, and then the second area I'd be watching is this 34.137. Still a few more results to come through this week, which are going to impact the Dow Jones. So just be careful about this. Sometimes it's not worth getting trapped. But if we just have a look at the 15 minutes and have a look at what happened yesterday, we were sideways. We were in amongst the moving averages when we did the video yesterday. And obviously when we like that, you don't want to be trading. But when you start seeing breaks, that is when you're looking for the opportunity. And if you draw in your range here, there it is there. A bit of a messy pullback and rejection here at the open. But that's been the norm for the US markets. It's been pretty aggressive. But typically when you are below the moving averages, like we were yesterday, sort of drop below it, and then you got the rejection, there is your structure. The only issue with it is the 165 points stop loss. Not the end of the world, but you would have at least had a little bit more than 2-to-1 trade on offer. So just pay attention to this. And the other thing is, if you even drop down to the lower time frames, you just need the time to do this. You can see it was really a rejection of the 155. No real structure to the left, but a rejection of the 155. And you can argue that it was another rejection of this level that had been rejected all through the day or all through the morning. So that's kind of the structure we've got at the moment. Obviously now you may get a situation where we just reverse, find support higher up and move up higher. So higher time frames, you are in a bit of an uptrend. It does look like a pullback. Could have been a wedge, but it could also be the start of a fairly interesting channel. Okay, so like I say, it's up until it's not, and for me at the moment, just a wait and see on the lower time frame to see what is going to happen. That's a fairly strong move that we've just got now. But what we'd be looking for is see if we can recapture 3400. If we can recapture 3400 and start building a base above it, you need to get down to sort of a 5-minute chart, because you can see what's going to happen here. We'll then cross over the moving averages and then find support. And then you're looking for first bit of structure that you form on a break of this. You're looking for the long entry above that structure, and you're looking for the stop below it. So it should be a nice tight stop loss, and you need to be watching each of these levels. You need to take profit at each of these levels. Not try to be greedy, take profit, and be aware that you do have some results coming through still as well. So anyway, that's kind of my view on the DAX. Not convinced that this is going to fall much further. It's going to need to drop below the lows of this morning at 33,824. Starts doing that, I'd want to see a fairly decent break at the moment. So yeah, I think I'm going to be sitting quietly on this one at the moment. I'm not entirely convinced either way. If you are going to trade short on this, watch the structure at one of these two levels and then keep your stop really tight. Pay attention to this level here, because that's probably your first take profit area. If you do get through this, then you've pretty much got to move down to 33,450, which could be on the cards at the moment. So that is the most logical thing for the shorts. It's just I'm not convinced when I look at the 3-hour at the moment, specifically because of this. Okay, so that's kind of my view. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.